Hi guys, welcome back to Bare and Unscripted. So I've had a few people ask me how I was able to get over divorce, how I was able to let go after divorce. So I thought, um, and I've been saying this that I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make a video about this, but I'll be honest with you. Making videos about your life, about your experience, it's not easy. um Telling your story, your fears, that's not easy. But I do know one thing though: if you speak about your fears, they disappear. um so that is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. I want to take you through the journey of how I was able to let go after divorce. Now I've been thinking of the best way to make this video, what to say, how to say it, and all of these things. But I'm going to tell you the truth. It's been messy. It's just been messy. I just couldn't get the right words. I couldn't get to that place where I'm like, okay, that's it. This is going to be a great video. No, because it's a mess. It was a mess. And I was reminded that healing is a mess. Um, so if you're going through divorce, or that you're heading to that direction, because your gut will always tell you. I just want to tell you what I did to get myself back, to get to know faith back, to find happiness, and to fall in love with life again. It was quite a journey, but it's possible. So everyone deals with trauma differently, because divorce is a traumatic experience. I didn't even know this until I spoke to someone um, during the divorce, while I was going through the divorce, and she actually told me that, Faith, you are going through trauma, or you went through trauma because of the abuse that was involved as well. And I had no idea about this. So I'm hoping that me telling you my own journey can help you with yours. And one thing I want you to keep in mind as I go through this story is that healing takes time, and nothing will work if you rush it. So take your time. Okay, so here I was, starting over, scared of being alone, because I hadn't been alone for a couple of years. I was filled with fear. um my life revolved around fear. I was even scared that people could even smell it when I walked down the street. that's how that's how fearful I was. I feared that if I talked to people, they could see it in my eyes. They could, anyone could see the fear that I had. I I was in this kind of bondage, man. I felt like I was in bondage. I was in this self-made prison, that I couldn't get myself out. And then one day it dawned to me that, hey, this thing is over. It's all done now. It's over now. It's done. The divorce is done. It's all done. And there's nothing you can do about it. Now, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to cry every day about everything that you've built and lost? Because you have two choices. You can either dwell in the past and cry about it all, cry about everything that you've lost, or you can pick yourself up dust yourself, and create a life that you can be proud of. So, this is what I did. I got rid of anger. I knew that this was one thing that I had to let go of, to get rid of. A lot had happened during the divorce. A lot had been said. I was literally painted black. So I was angry about a lot of things. I was angry about a whole lot. I felt life was unfair. I thought I had already been through a lot in my life, having lost my parents at a young age and had to raise myself and had to literally take myself through varsity while raising my little brother as well as raising myself. Um, so I felt like life was unfair. Life is just unfair. I was angry because I think I was angry at God more than anything, because I thought when He gave me a husband, um, this was someone was going to be with me through thick and thin, right? My best friend, my partner in this thing called life. We were going to be together through sickness and health, thick and thin, richer or poorer, all those things that we say during the ceremony, marriage ceremony. So for me, this was a blessing from God. How can it not be? I thought He wanted me not to feel alone in this world, because I had felt alone for a very long time. I thought, okay, finally, God is bringing me somebody, and I'm never ever going to feel alone. I felt like He's providing me with a partner to walk through this journey called life. So I remember that time. My life felt heavy. Like, it felt like I was carrying the world on my shoulders, and I knew that I'm too small for this. I need to put this down. I need to put these bags down, because they were way too heavy for me to carry. I need I knew that I even the thoughts that I thought were heavy, I didn't feel free at all. The anger, the anger was just too heavy, even for me to deal with. Luckily for me, I separated myself from society at that time, and I needed to deal. I just felt like I need to deal with this on my own. I need to figure myself out. I need to figure things out. um so, and at the same time, I knew that I need to put this anger down. So I needed to find a way to put the anger down, because I knew that if I don't, this was going to destroy me, because that's what anger does. It destroys the host, not the people that you are angry at. It destroys you. That's why people say anger is a cancer, because it destroys you, not not the people you are angry towards. So I knew that I had to put everything down in order for me to live my life fully, regardless of what I've been through. I I just couldn't recognize myself, and I needed to get back to myself, and I needed faith back, because I'd always been a happy person. I'd always been a joyful person. I always made people laugh. And now I turned into this angry person who just didn't want to laugh anymore, who didn't see anything to laugh about. I just didn't find anything funny. Even when I was talking to people at work, I was just in my own world. But you try to hide these things at work because you need to be professional and all of that. But it's still not easy. I knew that I was mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically unhealthy at this point. Okay. So I decided, okay, let's put these bags down. Let's find a way to let go of this anger. Let's release it, because it's not helping us, right? It's not helping us move forward. It's not helping us create the life that we want. It's not bringing any joy. It's not bringing any positivity. So let's get rid of it. I knew this was not going to be easy, but I knew that this is something that had to be done. So I prayed about it. That's the only way that I know, how to deal with life. That's the only way that I've used, and it's always worked. And this is all I know. I don't know um, about talking to someone about your problems. I've never done that. So the only thing that I knew was to pray. So I asked God. I said, please help me let go of this anger that I have. I know it's not good for me. I don't know how to let it go. And the other thing that I did, I also had to let go of fear. I was fearful. I was filled with fear, and fear grips you like, you know, it gets a hold of you. It grips you like fake nails. It eats into your, it eats into you. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what fear does. It holds you. You can't move when you are fearful. You can't do anything because you are scared. You just, God could be calling you to a better place, but you will refuse to take the step. He could be saying to you, come, walk, take the first step, but you would refuse because of fear. Fear is the worst enemy that I've ever encountered in my life. That's my opinion. Fear lies to you. It tells you things that don't exist. It shows you things that don't exist. It stops you from doing things that are going to help you become a better person. It stops you from talking to people that you should be talking to. It stops you from starting things that you should be starting. It holds you hostage, like, just like fear, just like anger. It holds you hostage as well. I believe that these what does the Bible call them? I don't want to say negative spirits, man, but there's a word. There's a word for these things. So fear, the definition of fear is false evidence appearing real. That is so true, because when you are fearful, whatever you are thinking is false. Whatever you are seeing, whatever you think you're going to experience, whatever you think is going to happen, it's false. How you see the world when you are fearful, how you see people, how you interact with people, how you show up in the world, that's not the real you. That's not how those people are. That's not how the world is. you know so here I was, scared of what people will say when my marriage is over, as if they had not said enough already. Oh geez. So the divorce probably took 2 to 3 years, right, to be finalized. I don't know, maybe more than that. I honestly don't know. But our courts take their own time. So there was a lot of talk during this time. I think in one of my videos, I even mentioned the smear campaign that was going on um, with with my ex, where people were told different stories about why we are divorcing, that I'm not this, I'm not good enough, that there was a whole lot of. There is a video. I think it's a video that said that with the title, when the veil comes, yeah, unleashing of the veil, or whatever. It's in one of my earliest videos that I have. So here I was, scared of these church folks judging me, because that's what they do best, in my opinion. You know, church folk will judge you. Church folk will talk about you. Church folk will gossip about you. Um, there's no love there. I mean, I never experienced that. There's no love there. There's no support. There's no sisterhood. There's no brotherhood. Um, all these things are just, they profess these things, but they don't actually practice them. Thank God I'm no longer in church. So I was scared of starting over. I was thinking, like, how in the world am I going to do this? How do you move on? How do you start over when you've been with someone for so many years? Like 8 years of my life, I've been with this person. Now I have to figure things out on my own. I have to think, I have to decide, I have to go and do and cook for me and my daughter. And, like, I used to cook for my family. Um, but I knew, man, I had to let go of this fear. I knew deep down within me that if I just let go of anger, if I let go of fear, then I can be free. Then I can be free to think, you know, then maybe, just maybe, this is the time that God will be able to speak to me. I mean, I didn't have all the answers, but I just reasoned with myself and said, well, the higher power probably can't get through to me right now, because I'm so filled with fear. I'm so filled with anger. I'm just filled with all these negative things and negative feelings. How can I hear him speak to me? It's impossible. Um, so I decided to let go of fear. I just need to highlight this thing that I just said now. I decided. I think with everything that has happened in my life, I had to decide, you know, in my healing journey, I had to decide. I had to decide to let go of fear. I had to decide to let go of anger. I had to decide that I'm ready to get healed. I had to decide that I want to get healed. It's a decision. That is why now I know that I cannot help someone who does not need help. I cannot help someone who is not ready to heal. I cannot help someone who's not ready to let go of their trauma. I cannot help someone who's not ready to get out of their mess. I cannot help someone who hasn't had enough. I had enough of myself at that moment. So I knew it was time for me to let go. So I knew I had to let go of fear, because I knew that there must be more to life, man. I knew that things could get better. I guess that's why I was named Faith. That's why my mother named me Faith, because I always had this faith that they something good is on the other side of this. So I knew deep down there was a reason why I'm still alive, you know. I knew very well that I could be 6 feet under right now with everything that had happened in my marriage and during the divorce. I knew that my story could have been worse. I knew that had God not protected me, my child would not have a mother now. So this is a decision I made. I chose to focus on the positive side of life. I chose to focus on the positive side of life, even if I can't see what's positive about life at that moment. I had to relearn what makes me happy. I had to relearn what makes me passionate. What is it what drives me, what genuinely makes me happy as a person. And then I knew that I had to do more of these things. When I find them out and write them down, I had to do more of these things. I had to write down all of these things that make me happy, that light me up inside. And most of these things don't cost any money. So I wrote them down, and I had a plan of how to get myself to do them again. So some of these things were that I love to do, that give me peace, that bring me back to myself, were reading. I'm in my own world when I read. I can curl up with a book for hours. I can do it at the beach. I can do it on my bed. I can do it as long as, I'm on my own wherever I am. So I started reading more. Beach days, I love the beach. The beach is just my place. It's my place where I meditate. It's a place where I plan and I think about the life that I want to have. I don't know the other name for that. Like where you have a vision of the life that you want to have, and you have a plan of how you're going to get there, and what the steps that you need to take. So the beach is like a friend for me. Whenever I'm at the beach, I feel alive. That's why I wanted to stay as close to the beach as possible. um yeah, so sunsets as well. Sunsets, they do something to me that I can't even explain. The fact that the sun is going, it's setting. First of all, it's just a beautiful thing to see, but for me, it means a lot. Knowing that the day is over and knowing that there's another day that's coming. It's a lot, man. I really I can't explain it. So I knew that I needed to do more of those, more and more and more of those things. Exercise, most people who know me will tell you. um oh man, exercise is my happy place. Exercise is my friend. Exercise is my comfort, my thing. So it's always been a lifesaver for me. I'm saying this because I do it when I'm happy. I do it when I'm sad. I do it when I'm sick. I do it when I'm healthy. I really don't care. I love to exercise. So I did more of these things. Then I surrounded myself with people I looked up to, people that I could learn from. I wanted to know and I wanted to learn how did they get to where they were? Did they have a plan in place? Did they have a strategy? Do they have tried and tested ways of doing things? I knew that, whatever that was, I needed that for myself right now. If there's a plan out there, if there's a strategy out there, if there is a path that one needs to follow, I need to do that. I need to find one that is comfortable for me. So I wanted to learn from them. I love learning, by the way, just in general. But I love learning from other people as well. I love people who've been through things. People I can sit and listen to them for days and days and days, because I love people who've had real life experiences. I think that for me, that's worth more than Netflix. That's worth more than anything. I learn a lot from those people. So I wanted to learn, I wanted to gain wisdom from them. Um, I have this friend of mine, a very close friend, um, that I always learn. I know, like, whenever we usually have dinners, and most of the time, and I know that in that dinner, I'm going to learn something. Every time I spend time with him, I know that I'm going to learn something. I know that I'm going to learn something. I actually spent time with him last weekend, and he's just a ball of wisdom, and it's a blessing to have people like that around you. They're not exactly people who are going to comfort you when you cry or whatever, um, but like there are people who open up your eyes, who make you see things that you didn't see, who make you aware of things that you were not aware of, who teach you things about life that you could never ever imagine, who make you see life in another way. That's what I love about him. Like, he makes me see life in another way, like, because he lived in a different generation, he lived a different life to mine, different culture. So I'm always excited to spend time with him. The other thing I did was, I knew that I had to lean on something. I knew that I can't depend on myself. Like, I can't even trust myself. I can't even trust my thoughts at this time. Let alone trust other people. So I knew that I had to lean on God. I knew that if anybody's going to get me out of this, then it must be the person that created me. Oh, so I leaned in. I hanged on for dear life. I I held on for dear life. I don't know, but I am tempted to say I never held on to God like that in my life. Oh, but I hanged on this time. My faith comforted me. Knowing that there is a higher power that is in charge of my life comforted me. It brought me back to my center. It humbled me, you know. Um, I, I I was able to understand that God always had a plan for my life. That nothing was a mistake. Nothing, nothing was a mistake. Everything is in His plan. He knows what's best for me. His will is better than mine. I knew that I might not understand the things that He does most of the time, or even what's going on in my life. But one day it will all make sense. And this has always been the truth in my life, because so much has happened. And I got to understand later that it was all working out for your own good. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to think this way. It's easy to look at the mess that's going on in your life, or look at the storms that you're going through, and think that, oh well, it's all going to work out in the end. No, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's possible. Now, one thing about leaning on God and completely surrendering to Him and say, "Here I am, Lord. Let your will be done. Show me what you want me to see. Guide me. I'm here." He will come through. So He came through for me and He told me about forgiveness. He told me that in order for me to be free of all of these things, the fear, the anger, I needed to forgive in order for me to be free. I'll tell you, I didn't even understand what He was talking about at that time. But I knew I had to obey, right? Because I said that I'm going to surrender. So that's when I was on my path to forgiveness. So I had to forgive everyone that was involved. I had to forgive my ex-husband. I had to forgive myself as well, because that could be that can be a very difficult thing to do, to forgive yourself. And I think I probably sent him a message and told him that I forgive him. And then I blocked him after that, because you can forgive people and not talk to them again. And for me, that's my thing. I don't forgive them because I'm trying to say they are right for what they did, or it didn't hurt me as much as it did, or whatever the case is. No, I'm forgiving them so that I can release myself from the bondage of unforgiveness, because it's another bondage as well, to go around not forgiving people, holding grudges and all of that. And my life is not about that. My life is about freedom. My life is about joy. My life is about peace. My life is about traveling light. My life is about, enjoying this gift called life. My life is about being everything that God wants me to be. You know, it's about being excited about the things that I do. Um, so I didn't need any of this heaviness. So God also took me out of the dating scene. I had to date myself for a while. I had no idea what the dating scene was all about anyway. I had been out of it for a long time. So I didn't know what was going on. I never even thought that I would get back to it, right? Because no one gets married to divorce. That's true. A lot of people say that as if it's nothing, but that is true. I don't think anybody gets married to divorce. So I had to step back, watch and learn how the dating scene is, or was at that time. So what was most important to know for me at that point? I had to know what was going to be the best relationship for Faith, because I had changed. I was no longer the woman that I was. I had discovered things about myself that I didn't know, you know. So surely the relationship that I want to be in, or I want for myself, would need to change as well. So I needed to know what my deal breakers were. I needed to know what were my green flags, what were my red flags, rainbow flags, whatever flags. I just needed to know, like, what will work for me now? What do I want? Who do I want? Who do I want to show up as? How do I want to show up in my relationship? It was important for me to know those things. truth be told, I had seen the worst. By that time, I had seen the worst because um, I had been disappointed by someone that I would have done anything for. So you can imagine how if I had gone straight to the dating scene at that time, how I would see people, how I would see men, and you know. So it's a good thing that I had to step back and see these things from far and make my decision when I was when I was healed. Um, I knew that I I'm not gonna rush into anything. The last thing I wanted was a relationship anyway. So I knew that I had to tread carefully. Whenever I'm ready, I knew that I had to tread carefully. I knew that it'll take time for me. It'll take time for my wounds to heal. And I need to give them time. It'll take time for me to look at my wounds and see them for what they are. Look at them and see how proud I am that I've survived that. So self-discovery was very important. Before I go out and discover other people, I knew that I had to discover myself. So my advice to you is take control of your life. It's yours and nobody else's. We're only given one life, and one life only. It's not a rehearsal. We are not rehearsing here. This is only one life, and you need to live it. Get your mindset right. I think that's the one thing that helped me, because in all of this, even when I was going through the divorce, I knew that I had to keep my mind right, because if I kept my mind right, I'm going to be okay regardless. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to do things that I'm going to regret. I'm not going to say things that I'm going to regret. Had I not controlled my mind, I knew, everything would have been a mess. Well, it was a mess already, but probably would have been worse. So get your mindset right. You can't control other people. You only have control over yourself. And also understand, ladies, that no amount of cooking, no amount of cleaning, ironing, doing whatever for him, treating him like a king, doing all this and that in bed is gonna make him stay if he wants to go. If he wants to go, let him go. I'm not even joking about this, you guys. Men or women, if somebody wants to live your life, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to open the door wide and let them out. The other thing you can do is to find out what makes you happy. Try to find the things that actually don't cost any money that make you happy, because those are the things that are worthwhile. Do more of that. Do more of those. These are things that you need to focus on. The things that make you fulfilled. The things that make you fall in love with life again, because we are here on earth to fall in love with life. We are here to to experience life in all its seasons, you know. Um, do things that make you see life in a different light, because you've been in darkness, you went through darkness. Now you need things that make you see life in all its glory. So another thing you can do, forgive and let go. um, Set yourself free from all the chaos. Give yourself that gift. Just forgive. I think I've said it before that forgiveness does not mean you condone what they have done. Does not mean that, you know, you're saying it was right or you're letting them off the hook. No, it does not mean that. You are getting yourself off the hook, because that's something that you need to do. I will tell you something. When you do forgive the people that hurt you, when you do forgive the person that has hurt you, nothing they do will affect you negatively. I tell you from experience. Even if they try to upset you, even if they try to poke you, you know, you will feel nothing, because you would have forgiven them. You won't be you know, you won't be holding any grudge against them. So they can do whatever. They can try to upset you. The only thing that you'll say is bless you. For example, for me, I used to receive some WhatsApp messages that were threatening, that were rude, that were insulting. But because I had forgiven the person, I would just not reply. I would just not reply. Um, so sometimes letting go can mean moving to a new city, moving to a new country, you know. Um, there's a quote that says, you can't heal in the same place that hurt you. And that's true. I think one of the reasons why my healing took a while was I was still in the same area. I was not exactly where we had a house, but I was still in the same area. So I used to go to the same grocery stores. I used to go to the same same gym. What I didn't see him in that gym, but same grocery stores, same streets, you know, same neighborhood basically. So obviously you'd have flashbacks of things, and you know, until I left the area, then I think the real healing started, because I was far, and that's when I was able to see the world in a different way. Now I got close to the beach and I was like, oh my god, this is life, because I had always wanted to stay next to the beach, to live next to the beach. And I know that I would have never done that had I, you know, if I was still married, because that was probably not his thing, but it was my thing. um yeah, that's when I started to see life in a different way, man. I was like, oh, okay, so people are living out there, you know. um and then I started living as well. um yeah, get your spirit right. Get your spirit right, get your heart right. When your spirit is right, your heart will be right. When your heart is right, your spirit will be right. You will also be able to discern and see people for who they are as well. The Bible says the things of the heart, you know, something like that. The people who know the scripture will tell you Issues of life flow from the heart. That's so true. If your heart is rotten, only rotten things are going to come through. Everything that comes through in your life that shows up, it starts from your heart. So if you get your heart right, opportunities are going to open. Great things are going to start happening to you. People who have bad hearts, they have it bad in their lives, I promise you. Another thing, you need spiritual healing. Yeah, for me, this was God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in him as my source of strength. I believe in him as my friend. I believe in him as basically I can do nothing without him. So I prayed at that time like I've never prayed before. I fasted. But it was nice because I was not fasting for anybody else. I was not fasting for anything else. I was fasting so that God can deal with me. I was saying, do what you need to do for me to get completely healed. I need to be completely healed. Whatever it is that you need to do it. Whatever it is that you want me to learn, whatever it is that you want me to see, let me see it. I was praying for my peace of mind. I was fasting for my peace of mind. That's what I was praying for. Because I knew that if I get it right here, then I'm going to be okay. Also, find growth in other areas of your life. Find new challenges, learn new things, new skills. Do things that you've always wanted to do that you were never able to do before. Learn how to swim, learn how to run, how to do music, hiking, whatever it is that you've always wanted to do. Have goals, have some goals for your life. Have goals of where you want to see yourself and what kind of life you want to live right now, and have some kind of a plan as well of how you're going to get yourself there, how you're going to be able to live the life that you want to live. And every day do something that brings you closer to those goals. So if you want to go back to school and learn something new, have a plan. Okay, how am I going to do it? I'm going to apply. I'm going to save money to pay for my tuition. I'm going to, read my books twice a week, whatever the case is, but have some kind of plan so that you can succeed. Because if you don't have a plan, then it's not gonna work. Also, get rid of what doesn't work in your life anymore. Just remove. I remember that there was a whole lot of things that were just pure clutter in my life that I had to remove as well, things that were not working for me anymore, including humans, by the way. Whatever doesn't serve you, man, this can be people, things, or places, remove them. Yeah, I think that is it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. Please don't forget to, I don't ever say this in my videos. So please click the like button, share the message if there's someone that you think will get value from it. Click the notification bell so that you can be notified when I upload another video. Take care of yourselves. I think that's very important for each and every one of us to do. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.